Good evening, folks, and welcome back to APPF1 Tier 1, round number 3 for tonight's dose of racing action. We are in the Kingdom of Bahrain for round number 3, and we have got quite the title fight on our hands. Now, just to clarify, after last week's several DNFs due to the server issues, we have had to award half points to all drivers who competed and scored points in that race. So the standings will look a little bit different, with a few .5s in there as well for a few drivers, which could, come the end, work into their advantage. But Palang still leads the way, 24 points for the Canadian driver. Let's just grab... It's like Swedes first out, is it? Yes. And yes, it's then 4 points ahead of Ghost is Palang in P2. There is my podcast partner with Dake just a point behind there as well. Just half a point behind is LTB in P4. Kevin O'Reilly then sits on P5. You've then got QVR, Verstappen, Griffin, Kyler and Kane and Kevin in the top 10 with Lewis, T-Bran, Hugo, Tomash, Josh, Johnny Carr, Coru, Joe B, Lawrence and Robin Brain, the top 20 in the standings so far. You've then got Ferrari leading the way. They're 7 points ahead of RB, who are a point ahead of McLaren, who are a point ahead of Williams in your top 4. Red Bull are then in P5 with Alpine, Mercedes, Haas, Sauber and Aston Martin rounding off the rest of the constructors' grid. Let's bear with me 1 second. Apologies. I'm still recovering from this illness. I don't know what the hell it is. Probably dying. But, you know, that's okay. I would die too if I saw that Audi car. Anyway, QVR Verstappen's going to focus on a tour of Bahrain, this circuit that can be quite tough. I think it's become a bit Marmite actually to drive these days, but anyway, down towards turn number 1. It's a long run to the line. Heavy braking zone about just before the 100-metre board there does QVR, and down into second gear. They're for this tricky turn 2-3 complex. Any too much power here and you'll be spinning around into that wall like the keep on that. And then down towards turn number 4, the first DRS straight. And using the curb in that corner, use all the track available. Get down on the power. Let's see how committed you are through the edges. A little lift there from QVR, but not too much of a slow down really, and in towards this next corner, turn 8. Through there. Now the trickiest corner on the F1 calendar is turn 9-10 complex braking. You can see it locking up that front left tyre quite viciously is QVR, but makes it through the corner. We'll see the sector time in a few moments as they make their way through turn 11 and 12. Emit through these corners, a bit wide of the apex. There's QVR, he'll want to be tightening that up on his next attempt. Had a lap around here, but up the hill, crosses the sector line, a 105.5 for the Ferrari driver. Now, it's one more, well, 2 more corners really, but it's really just 1 more corner to go as we come down towards turn 13 and 14. Actually, no, 14 and 15, I should say, as we come down towards his final corner to finish off the lap. QVR Verstappen is going to be the first driver to set a lap time. It's a 1 minute 27.3. Ross is going to follow him, 28.1 there as well. Is that Joey B next? No, it's going to be Ghost up into P2. You've then got Kevin O'Reilly in the RB up next. Now Palang, championship leader. What can he do in that Golf livery Williams? Up into P2 he goes. Lawrence there as well, I think it's crossed the line, but not set a time as Tomash goes fastest of everybody on circuit right now. How about Joe B? Where can he place himself? P7 for the Tier 2 and Tier 3 driver there as well. Chris RBL out for a spin around the circuit. Season 10 champion, I want to say. And it goes the fastest of them all. Here comes Scott as well. Scott into P10. Not the best opening lap from the British driver. Dake crosses the line now as well. Up into P5 for the Scotsman. Next we've got Griffin in the Mercedes. 128.1. His teammate Lewis goes just ahead of him. 28.0 there as well. How about Coru on an outlap? So we'll find out what they're running in a moment. Jasper P16 right now. Can he improve that time? He does into P12. LTB has set a lap time, but that's not representative at all. Hugo's popped himself into P5. Reshka on the Tier 1 grid. It's nice to see, as we've got no Kylo Ren, but there's 2 Red Bulls on the circuit nonetheless. Here comes Lawrence, looking to avoid any diesel spills out on the circuit. Hopefully he doesn't put any of them as he comes around. If you're wondering why I keep talking about diesel spills whenever I see Lawrence, it's because he spilled diesel the other day and it was really funny. He got it all over himself, looked like he pissed himself. Hello Tomash and MSS, how are we doing? Solid first lap, Tomash. I'm sure you can improve on that one. I think we're looking at maybe a high 26, I think, yeah. Maybe a 26.8, perhaps, 26.9. The question is who's going to set it? Could it be Koru as he makes his way down? Solid podium in Tier 2 on Tuesday. Let's see what he can do in that Sauber as he comes around the final couple of corners. Down to the line for Koru. It's only P9 for now. 27.9. Not a bad banker as we go along. But I think that's going to end really the first runs for everybody. Jasper into the pits. 2 Red Bulls perhaps coming in as well. Definitely coming in, these Red Bull cars. Oh no, Reshka's not coming in. I don't know what Reshka's up to. Perhaps he's doing a bit of practice for the time being. He's got no battery, so that definitely won't be a competitive lap time from Reshka there. I'm not sure what Lawrence. I think he just finished the lap, maybe. Getting some practice. Sui Ross is out on the circuit, so we can follow along there. Is how we're all doing. Put your predictions in, of course, for pole position. It's nice to be here. This will be my last stream for the next couple of weeks. Of course, handing over to Louis L. Day, who is going to take over, or Louis L. Day. I'll never know how to pronounce his name. But yes, he'll be taking over for the next 4 weeks, and then I'll be back to see you through to the finale. In a few weeks' time. That's a few weeks' time. It's about a month away. The finale, so in March, I guess. But very nice indeed. Just admiring the Haas livery. Can't wait to see the new Haas livery out on circuit. To be honest, next season. Well, this season coming really. I don't know if you've been keeping up with the livery launches. I certainly have. I've got them all marked down on my calendar. We're done now for 2 weeks. Until Williams on the 3rd. Let's hope Williams can pass crash testing in good time and get themselves on the track. We don't want a 2019 situation. Not again. We're past that, Williams. We're past that, James. No more. No more. Anyway, Sui Ross going to come around the circuit. I'll keep an eye on who is crossing the line as well at the same time. Sui Ross invalidates his lap, so that's going to be him done. So Kevin O'Reilly, I think he'll be winning a good result. Hopefully no wing damage to slow him down this time. He had decent pace even with the wing damage around Saudi last week, but he'll be looking to go a bit better this time around and maybe challenge for that top 5 and score me some good fantasy points as well after Lawrence decided to bin it maliciously, I should add. Anyway, Kevin O'Reilly making it round. Let's see what he does across that sector line as he comes down towards turn 5. He's a little bit down on his previous best. Needs to find some improvement in the second sector. He's going to have some traffic ahead of him there as well. The Ferrari and Aston and an Alpine are ready to greet him should he get too close. But we'll see. Is he pulled off? I think he might have. No, he has backed off, yeah. You see he's harvesting. He's not gaining time on that one. Let's run on board with Ghost then, who's immediately the car behind him. And let's see what Ghost can manage in that Papaya McLaren coming down the main straight, down towards turn 11 and 12. But these are 2 of my favourite corners on the circuit, to be honest. I love it. You can get some great overtakes through here if you get the run through 11 Right, and into 12. Let's see what Ghost is doing. He's a 10th up. This could put him ahead of Kevin O'Reilly. It's a bit of a gap, really. It's about 4 tenths to Dake and the top 6. So Ghost has really got to put in the lap time if he wants to find it. Perhaps he can find that time in this final sector, but he can't this time around as he validates the lap. Pulls straight into the pit lane. I think that's going to be Lawrence coming into the start of the lap. That's Palang. Goes for the 27.0, first driver to do so. As Joey B, I think, improves his time maybe. As Tomash for a lap he was, but couldn't improve. As an RB, that wasn't Kevin. That was more than likely Scott. I think he did improve his time. Hugo's starting a lap, so let's ride on board now with Koru, who's on an out lap, so never mind that. So we're going more with Enchilada Dad in the other Williams this evening. Let's see what he can manage through these couple of corners here. So what time is as he comes in. Only marginal improvements really from Enchilada at 100th of a second improvement right now. He's got to find it all in these last couple of corners. Melting away at that battery is Enchilada, the season 18 champion. No, that's wrong. Is that wrong? No, that's not wrong. Of tier 2 at least. But anyway, I should know these things, but I don't. I'm not a stats nerd like Rick, as LTB goes up into P4. Chris RB obviously validated his time. It's going to be Dakar. Can he find an improvement? He can. Puts himself up into P4. That's not a bad time from him at all. Lawrence improving up into P17. It looks like he had a Williams tailgating the whole way around. Kimi Verstappen comes across the line, but he wasn't on a lap. Kevin O'Reilly. I don't think Kevin's on a lap. Down in P7 at the moment is the Irishman. But that's actually Scott about to cross the line. It was Scott. He hasn't improved. How about Koru? He's a 10th and a half almost up on his previous best. Only good enough for 10th place. Just ahead of Ghost there. I think Ghost, he'll be kicking himself for that invalidation there. As he could have easily found himself in the top 9, top 10 of drivers really. But this is an incredible gap actually. 0.2 of a second between 9th and 8th. But then you got 0.4 of a second between 8th and pole position. It's close, but I think there's a definitive batch of drivers that are there. And I'd actually say Kevin's just on the cusp. I'd actually argue it's this top 7 here, you go upwards. That are the drivers that are the cream rising to the top, let's say. Here in tier 1 so far, I really call it tier 2. But that's Sui Ross. I think he was on a lap, but he's had an incident at turn 10. Easy to do as they're trying to get on the power as soon as possible through that corner and lay the traction down. But I think he'll have plenty of time to get one more lap in, so long as he has the fuel to do so. So no real fear there. Reshka's on an out lap now as well. We've got 4 minutes left in the session. Plenty of time. Ghost is on an out lap as well. So some drivers opting to get out nice and early. Nice clear track. Want to avoid invalidations if possible. Koru into the pits there as well. Sui Ross another spin at the final corner. And I think just enough time to actually come in, reset, go again. I think this is his first race back for Sui Ross. I feel like I remember him signing up relatively recently. So welcome back, Sui. Best of luck. Let's ride along with Reshka. Reshka will hope that he doesn't get the same treatment he got in Elite in his first race here. From Ghost, the man he's sharing the track with right now. As if you know, you know. Welcome to my league. It's a well-known meme amongst the community. Ghost will know. I'm sure he'll hate that I brought it up. But this is the birthplace of that meme, of course, so it's gotta be brought up. Gotta be done. But Reshka looks like he's opting for another slow lap, which is interesting. Is Ghost gonna do the same thing? No, Ghost is going for it. So I'll ride along with Ghost then. But interesting that Reshka's doing a second warm-up run. Locking up that front right tyre there was Ghost into turn 1. Makes it through the turn 2, 3 complex now. The Sauber well out of the way. That's Koru on the circuit, or is it? It is Koru. I got that one right. Didn't pull a Crofty there. But Ghost in towards turn 4. Down towards 5, 6, 7 now. And let's see what he can manage. He's 2 seconds down, so actually I think he might be doing another cooldown lap. I don't know why he was using all the ERS there. Maybe just trying to warm up those tyres. But another cooldown lap, and it's going to be for Ghost. So then I guess we are waiting for Reshka, as everybody's getting themselves back out on track. Hugo, the only car not to start moving yet, but perhaps waiting for his opportunity. Apologies for the big gaps of silence. But here we go then. Reshka, Hugo not coming out onto the track. He's done for this qualifying session. I wonder why, to be honest. But here comes Reshka then, down into turn 1. We'll keep an eye on this Red Bull. I think he's definitely got more pace in him than that. Maybe he can get in amongst that sort of top 12 at worst. So let's see. As Reshka comes down, using all the track available in towards turn 4. Remember, he's running no assists, Reshka, I believe. So he's got no line, but he's 0.08 of a second up. So improving, but not by as much as he would like in this first sector of the circuit. But plenty of time to be found out there. Let's see what else he can manage as he makes his way into turn 9 and 10. Here, that left tyre locking up. It's so hard to do, and so much wheel spin actually as he pegs down the throttle and puts on the overtake mode. And that's not going to help him, that wheel spin from the rear tyres. It's going to warm him right up, and it definitely wouldn't have helped him get the acceleration he would have wanted out of the corner. But across the sector 2 line, and it's 4/10 up. Tomasz is done. He's out of the session. Looks like he's crashed at turn 4. Or gone straight on, or whatever has happened to him. Hugo's session is over. I think Joey B's actually going to be the first to set a lap time. He's not in the end. As Reshka now comes along to cross the line. Let's see what he can manage. It's P13 for Reshka. Koru 2/10 up himself. This could put him into the top 8 perhaps as he comes across the line. Only 9th for Koru. Let's see, is that Jasper next? No, it's LTB who's going to cross the line. Only marginal improvements for him. If QVR Verstappen can't get onto pole position, I think that's Palang behind him. No, it's not. It's Enchilada down, and it's then going to be Daker crossing the line next. P3 for Daker. Not best for pole, but that's a good lap for pole from Chris RBL as Kevin O'Reilly puts himself into P6 there too. Sweet Ross up into P12. If then I think got Palang. Can Palang go any quicker? He can't as he crosses the line. Scott's the next driver to come across the line now. 5/10 improvement. Only good enough for P18. He really struggled here on Tuesday, and it looks like that's ringing true again. Lawrence pips him to give him the wooden spoon to add insult to injury as Lewis up into P10 with a solid final lap to get him into that top 10 position. Well, then your grid for Tier 1 is as follows. It's Chris RBL with an outstanding lap. 3/10 better than anybody else managed. He is in first place and pole position. You then got Palang lining up alongside him. QVR Verstappen, Daker, LTB, Kevin O'Reilly, Tomasz, Hugo, Koru, and Lewis the top 10 with Jasper, Griffin, Ghost, Sui Ross, Enchilada Dad, Reshka, Joey B, Lawrence, and Scott, the rest of the grid. Well, then an interesting race we've got going on here. The two Ferraris have had a solid evening. They've qualified themselves up in that P2 and P3 positions. So they're going to be looking to challenge Chris RBL, who could very well just run away with this race. And I wouldn't be surprised if he did, knowing Chris. But we shall see. It could prove to be a challenge. Strategy will be an interesting call here as well. There's been a bit of back and forth between the one stop and the two, between drivers, between tiers. So we'll see how that develops as well as the race goes on. I think most will favour the one stop, if I'm being honest, but the two stop can work as well. And then it's a case of whether you're starting on hards and ending on mediums, or you're ending on the hards and starting on the mediums. I opted for ending on the hards, which, I don't know, I mean, it didn't end well. I spun on the final lap, which is a shame, but I still scored a point. And that's more points than Lawrence managed, because he decided to go watch the football. Unbelievable. Imagine having a life outside of this league, eh? Anyway, we are waiting for the red lights here in Bahrain, under the lights itself. We'll be here not too soon. Well, we'll be here soon enough. That's what I meant to say. For the real F1. First for testing, and then for the race a couple of rounds later. I think it's round 4 these days. Looking forward to the Australian Grand Prix, though. That should be fun. I won't be getting up early, though. No. I'm not about getting up early on a Sunday. Sunday's a day for rest and recuperation. I wonder what it's taking so long. I hope we don't have a lobby reset on our hands. Let me check. I'm not seeing anything. We're waiting. Strategy's being discussed in the chat. Ghost reckons it's a free stop. You're welcome to try. Oh dear. I'm concerned that this is taking so long. It's happening, it's happening. Oh, we got 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Bahrain Grand Prix here in tier number 1. And we're underway and racing, and it looks like a solid start from the Aston Martin there of Chris RBL. And the Williams and Palang has got away well. He looks like he's drawing alongside him as well. Down in towards turn number 1 he goes. They're side by side as they exit. There's some carnage in the background, but we're watching the leaders as they go down towards turn number 4 now. It's Palang ahead of Chris RBL, but Chris is going to try and stick it around the outside and go for it. Or does he cut underneath the Williams? Let's see as he goes. You've got a Ferrari as well. Oh my word, that's a big crash. Palang loses it. Kyriel Verstappen is out of the race, and that is a safety car. How that's not a full course safety car, I don't know. Wow, what a start to this race. I'll go back and analyze while I've got a few seconds. So let's talk what happens. Is Chris and Palang are going side by side. Palang goes deep, trying to cover off Chris, of course. Chris trying to cut underneath him. Then Palang tries to get on the power nice and early. Loses the rear of the car. Spins in front of Chris. Chris catches onto the back of Palang, which then sends Palang into QVR Verstappen. And then from there, I don't see what happened to QVR. Let me have a look. Let me see if I can spot him. Looks like he might. Yeah, he just hit Palang too hard. And that's QVR out of the race. That is awful when that happens. Awful. I don't think that was really anyone's fault, but we're back underway and racing, and Lewis is going for a dive on Dakar, and I think the grid's a bit shuffled up. I think people might have come in, maybe. No, it's just been absolute carnage at the start of this race. Dakar's taken the lead back as well. He's fighting with Lewis here, who's looking very racy at the start of this Grand Prix. They're going round the outside of turn 1. Dakar's going to try and hold it off if he can. Excuse me, I'm just casually dying as this race goes on, but Lewis is now defending from LTB, who finds himself in P2. Dakar's leading this race. Lewis is at 8 positions from all the carnage. I'd imagine it's going to be a busy day for the stewards, but Hugo's in there as well. Biggest winner, though, is Lewis, up 8 places. 6 places up for Ghost, Reshka and Joey B there as well. So you've definitely got some big winners out of all of that carnage. The biggest losers, of course, I think Palang, QVR Verstappen, and even Chris, maybe. He might have wing damage to that car. No, but he is down in P5 and has lost 4 places to boot. Ghost has made a move on Tomash in the meantime. And we'll quickly look at some penalties already. 3 seconds, 10 seconds of Cora and Enchilada that as well. I wonder if they had been given penalties for colliding with one another. I didn't see all the carnage in turn 1, but it looked like an absolute brawl. Yeah, no, it was definitely tier 2 was cleaner on the start there for sure. I don't think Palang intended to take QVR out there. I think that was just a lap 1 mistake from the championship leader, and I think he'll be kicking himself for that. It's way down in 18th now. It's going to be a long day, but Lewis has actually got wing damage, and off goes Ghost in the background. I don't know what's happened there. Has he got caught up with somebody? Maybe Griffin on that occasion, but it's absolute chaos, this Bahrain Grand Prix. And it's looking like Joey B's fending off Scott. Scott down the inside. Joe's going to try and hang it all the way around. They're still side by side, are they? But Joe gets the better exit. Scott backs out sensibly enough and lives to fight another day. As LTB now going wheel to wheel with Hugo. Hugo trying to get past and does so. Gets the better exit out of the corner and into 9 and 10 they go. And Hugo up into the podium positions. Sweet Ross now making moves on Joey B. It looks like he might have gone around the outside of Joe in towards turn 10. Joe might come back at him though. Got a bit of a DRS train that's formed. Lewis still over the back of Dakar, but this is looking like a great race for Lewis so far. Let's hope that he can hold on to those positions he's gained, especially after this big brawl. I mean, when the top drivers are taking chunks out of each other, as LTB's also got damage, I'm noticing. That's when the mice come out to play, as they say. It's very confusing, the two V-Cops having 2 different liveries. But we move. Liz, how are you doing, Denko? I hope you're enjoying the stream so far. It's been a bit action-packed. And look, there's the 2026 livery for the Alpine. It's basically the same. It's criminal. Criminal. Moving on. So Lewis running a good race so far. He's got Hugo though for company, and I don't think it'll be much longer before Hugo is able to start having a go. LTB track limits penalty. I think you got that just a moment ago as Ghost is getting racy with Reshka. We've seen this before. I think Ghost will be getting some flashbacks. Well, Reshka more so. Let's hope he doesn't do a welcome to my league past Ghost and take him out again. Let's see, we're right on board. I don't think he's close enough to do any nonsense like that unless he decides to break. No, well aware of what he's doing there, Ghost, and stays out of trouble for the time being. Hugo, meanwhile, getting himself into that DRS range. I think that's Dakar's real threat. But Dakar now has opened up the gap, and Lewis won't get DRS, and that's only going to help Hugo chase after the lead of this race. Here we go. There's Hugo. DRS overtake, nice and simple. And ahead of Lewis he goes in towards P2. You can start focusing on the Ferrari ahead now. Scott and Lawrence getting racy. Joe and Kevin getting racy there as well. I think Kevin must have been one of the drivers caught up in that lap 1 incident, as he has ended up down in P12 there. You can see. I'm wondering if Kevin's got damage. He doesn't. Scott and Griffin, a bit of contact between those two as well, trying to keep up with all the action here. Lewis doing well to hold on to the drivers ahead, but we'll see. That gap is about to start opening up again, and I think he might just get the DRS. Let's see. We'll wait until he starts coming up towards the line. DRS line's about here. No DRS for Lewis, and so I think that's going to spell the end of this charge at the front, and it's going to spark the beginning of this battle between Dakar and Hugo. We're one Ferrari down. There's one lone Ferrari left. But Lewis has actually closed in a bit more. I think maybe running some higher wings than Mercedes. Full DRS train almost. Yeah, we get that often in Tier 1. Lawrence fighting over the 1 point, but we must have had it coming together at some point. Is that damage on Lawrence's car? It is damage on Lawrence's car. That's not going to bode well for his race. We'll focus on these leaders. Keep an eye on the other battles as well. Tomasz getting very close to the back of LTB, who goes very deep into turn 1. Now Tomasz might have a go at him into the next corner. His teammate Koru behind, but not close enough to go for a move. And Tomasz just having a look, weaving on the track there, trying to find a way past. No dice for the Sauber driver thus far. They make their way through sector 2. And now Hugo just slowly reeling in Dakar. Just keeping with him, making sure that Lewis isn't going to be any sort of threat from behind. I don't think he will be at this point. The gap's just too big now. Lewis is just a bit of a boat on the straights. I mean, he gains so much time through these corners and then loses it all again on the straights. And it's a bit of a difference here in the philosophy of this track, I think. I think it's been a running theme all week long. I think a lot of drivers running more wings than others. I think I was running, I want to say I was running 32-27 front wing on Tuesday. But I imagine drivers like Kevin, who runs ridiculously low wings, is running something crazy. Minus 50, minus 50. As Tomasz gets past LTB, that's stricken Alpine. Joey B and Griffin making moves on each other as well. Griffin up into P13. He'll be cheering his Mercedes teammate on from down there, but Tomasz might be wanting to get a look in on this podium here at this stage, but it's still early doors. Most of the drivers have opted for the mediums now, I should say. Lawrence, Palang and Enchilada have all come in for stops. So they're going to be going for a 2-stop. Forced, of course. They'll be hoping for a proper safety car. I think they probably would have hoped for a proper safety car the first time around, but you know how inconsistent this game can be. But I'm sure we might see some more action later on that maybe will lead to a safety car. Hopefully not. We don't want safety cars typically, but it is a part of racing. It can and will happen if they call for it. But as I say, most of the drivers leaning toward that medium strategy, so they'll be coming in probably sort of optimally around that 8 to 11. Probably more so closer to 8. As Hugo sort of very good exit here, very good opportunity, and makes a very simple pass up into the lead. I don't know if he doesn't fight it that much. He might just have another go in a moment as LTB's in the pits now. Does he change his wing? Let's see. I've been the character ready for it. Looks like they're holding a wing on the front. Yes, they are. So early stop for LTB. There's yellow flags in sector 1. Jasper maybe getting a bit out of sorts. No incident, no. We were expecting Chris to run away with this, but of course, getting involved in that lap 1 incident with Palang has not helped him out. Koru's got wing damage as well. I don't know if I said that already. All 1 high rings. I mean, I suppose we do. I mean, what wings were you running out of interest, Kevin? I don't know. I mean, I feel like a lot of... I don't know. I suppose it depends on your driving style, I guess. Because if you like an understeery car, then go for an understeery car. But I prefer a bit of oversteer on my car, to be honest. Right, then it's the brakes. Here comes Tomasz then. He's going to be chasing after Lewis now, who I think is starting to struggle a bit now. ERS wise, sort of similar, a little bit more in the favour of Tomasz as they go along. Daka, I don't think he's going to go for a move here, but Tomasz is. Up into P3 he goes. It's fairly simple stuff. Lewis tries to come back at him though, and it breaks late. Chris and Koru side by side behind them though, and they've been side by side for the last couple of corners, but this will be a nice battle between them. But no DRS for the Sauber, and Chris could breeze right around the outside of Koru, but he's not going to make it easy. It's the Sauber driver. Can he get a better exit? They're still side by side as they go through, but Chris just edging ahead before they get to the corner, and I think it's sensible from Koru to back out there. Wing damage ring damage accounted for there. Been up to 2011. Wow. Fair enough. Maybe I'll have a go at a lower downforce setup. It's Imola this week, so could prove effective, in fact. So we'll see. We will see. Let's see how I like it. Anyways, meanwhile, Kevin O'Reilly's right on the back of Sui Ross here in car number 48. Can he make a move? We've got a bit of a train here, really. This is the Lewis train. So P4 all the way down to P11. It's Koru into the pits. Jasper in as well. Goes Kevin in the pits. Driver's starting to come in now. We've got the advantage of all that previous race data. Of course, Connor got service 10 seconds. Back all over the back of Hugo there as well, running a good race. Here's the Scotsman, looking to get a more legit podium this time. Hugo will be hoping that there's no server issues that'll rob him of a win. But it's a good battle between the two of them so far. Koru coming out the pit lane as well. Let's get back to the leaders, because we could see a move for the lead here in towards the next couple of corners. We don't, as Reshka is all off the road there. Perhaps just avoiding the curb. Gets a 3-second time penalty for his troubles as well. Reshka running a solid little race here, but we've got to remember now the undercut is very, very effective here. I think it's about 20 to 23 seconds lost in the pit lane, something like that. I don't remember the exact number that was floated around, but we'll see as they come through. No, leaders aren't decided to come in. How about Tomasz? Yeah, into the pits comes Tomasz. Lewis follows him in. Chris is going to stay out as well as Reshka. Swiros stays out as well. There's Griffin, Joey B coming in. Scott, so let's run him all with Ghost. He's the lead car that's pitted already. I think Tomasz might be okay from this undercut. Yeah, he's coming out the pits now. I think Ghost will get past Joey B. Will he get past Lewis here? Yes, he will. And into, I think it was effectively, I want to say P4, P5 for Ghost. here with this undercut. Denko is astounded by Kevin's wings. Bitter rivals they are in Tier 2 at the moment. It's producing some fantastic racing. The clips that I saw for this week's action of the week were very impressive. Very. I voted for your move on Denko, I think. That's what I voted for. Nobody voted for my battle with JB. Small violin, but both the leaders in. Hugo leaving him very late. And frankly not crossing the line as Daka gets a time penalty for speeding. Oh, it's such an easy mistake to make. And such an avoidable one as well. He's going to be kicking himself for that. Is Daka. That's potentially podium over for Daka, let alone the win. Where's Ghost coming out the final quarter now? So the drivers are going to fine. Before the Scotsman leaping them. Scott's coming to the pits now as well. P14 for the time being. Daka, he's still within it, but remember he's out with that 10-second time penalty. It's really going to set him back. So Sweet Ross, Chris, Reshka, Jasper, all yet to pit off of these first sort of tyres. So Hugo is your effective race leader. Tomasz in third, and then, yeah, as I said, goes to about P5. So your top 5 is there. Hugo, Daka, Tomasz, LTB, and Ghost. Right now, Ghost, relative to LTB, is right on the back of him. And he's got Kevin O'Reilly for company as well. So Kevin's found himself back in this, which is a solid go for Kevin. He'll be happy with that as Corrin makes his move on Scott. In the meantime, up into P14 goes Corrin. Showed he's got very good pace around here on Tuesday. Reshka into the pits now as well. I think he's going to come out behind Ghost, probably even behind Lewis, I would say, at this juncture. There's a yellow flag. That's Jasper again having a moment by the looks of things. Oh no, just ahead of Lewis. It was close, but in a nice gap to work his way into this fight for what is P5? No, P4. So P5 is also part of that battle, but nevertheless. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at worst, third place. I mean, at best, second. At worst, you know, third. If we can keep the gap, we'll see. Let's have a look. Gap to leader. It's not looking good for him right now. If it ended right now, he'd be in P10, effectively. Minus 3 positions, if I say it's P7, something like that, for 10 seconds. If I've done my maths correctly. I hope I'm an idiot. Sweet Ross into the pits now as well. Another car out of the way of the leaders. Not that they're really in the way right now. That's what they could very well be. Jasper's struggling on those hards in this early stage of the race. I think Hugo and Daka are going to catch up to him very soon. He's under no obligation to get out of the way though. So how difficult will he make it? There's Sweet Ross coming out of the pits just ahead of Joey B, who will brake accordingly and slot in behind him. May even have a go at the Haas driver with the warmer tyres. He's very, very close to the back. Let's see if he goes for a dive now. Joey B, sensible racing driver that he is. backs off and continues the good fight. Well, LTB, I think he seems to be struggling a little bit here in Bahrain. He changed his wing, so his car's back up to it, but all sorts of squirrely on the exit there, and that's going to be the ringing of the dinner bell for Ghost. If he carries on that and keeps getting those mistakes, it snaps of oversteer as they're battling away. Kevin O'Reilly, I think he's the big winner in this situation though. He hasn't got any penalties yet. It's 3 seconds to the pair of them. Track limits, I mean they're potentially removable. We don't know the exact circumstances around them, but I would wager more less likely to be removed. Excuse me. It's just cold that I've had has really messed me up. Can't speak for a long extended period of time without bloody coughing. It's just rough. As Hugo gets ahead of Jasper. Jasper just gets out of the way of Dakar really and lets him through. He didn't have to do that, but I don't think Hugo would be too worried, especially with that 10-second time penalty Dakar has. He'll know he got it for speeding in the pit lane because he came in right at the same time as him, so those are not removable penalties, sadly, for Dakar. You know what, the more I look at... I'm looking at the Ferrari right now, and I'm kind of comparing it to what we got today. I don't know. I think it's the red darker. It's the red darker, do you think? I think it is. I'm still not a huge fan of it. I wouldn't say I'm, you know, writing letters home about the new one, the new livery either, as Chris is pitted. If you've seen it, it looks a lot like the 76 livery, Chris will come out behind the train with Ghost LTB and Kevin. It's part of the P5. The grid has now sorted itself out. Palaio's gone very long on those hard tyres as well. As LTB and Ghost are side by side battling away. Ghost getting the move done though, or at least defending from LTB. Oh, no, getting past him actually into P5. Jasper is still yet to pit there in fact, so it's still not quite reset. But yes, back to my point on the Ferrari. I think that red's darker. I think I'd prefer the new one to this one, but I don't know, that halo should have been black. It shouldn't have been black, it should have been white. I mean, arguably more of the car should have been red. But you'll hear more about that on the podcast when we talk liveries in a few weeks' time. So I'll stop prattling all about my opinions on the Ferrari livery. We've got Joey B and Sweet Ross to focus on. As Sweet Ross follows Joey B nice and closely through turns 11 and 12. Up the hill into turn 13. No moves so far. It's a bit quiet right now, but anything can kick this off. Dakar, I think, is just happy to stay with Hugo and manage the gap. Let's have a look now. So gap to leader right now. So you add 10 seconds to his time, so he's 10.4. That was Coral and JB. They passed each other on the DRS straight. So he's still looking at about P7. Although you add the 3 seconds to LTB and Ghost's time. So it's actually more like P5 right now. In real time, of course. That is subject to change. We don't know if a safety car might be called. As it looks like Connor's also got past 3 Ross here as well. On those 7 lap old hard tyres. he's going to be chasing after Bahrain next, who I would wager will be stopping anytime soon. And so probably won't put up too much of a fight with Koru here. Koru, did he change his wing in the pits? Yes, he did. Very good. Meanwhile, Tomasz getting close to the back of LTB. He's pushing him through the final corner, so much so that it's run him off the road. And now Ghost is going to be on the attack. I think in comes Jasper finally. Ghost is going to be on the attack, so this race has livened up a little bit. But actually, no DRS for Ghost. I'm not sure why he didn't get that. But Ghost unable to go for a move. But he could at least draw closer on this attempt. He'll be able to keep LTB at bay. But Tomasz has got ahead as it looks like Lewis and Reshka have both gone off the circuit in the background. You just saw them appear behind everybody as Griffin is coming out. Well, Jasper's coming out behind Griffin is what I was trying to say. But a little bit of argy-bargy going on here. But Tomasz has found his way onto that podium and he's looking at second place right now, effectively, with that gap to Daka. I think Daka's still staring down the barrel of P5 after his penalty. Yeah, although it could soon be P4. Or even P3 now, actually. Because we're adding time onto Ghost and ATP, aren't we? So they're effectively 12 seconds, or 11 seconds. And same with Kevin, so yeah. It's looking at P3 now, so it's looking a little bit better for Daka and his podium chances. So it looks like we might be talking to him after all. It looks like only Daka though. That's it. Chris RBL passes Kevin O'Reilly for P7. And it was effectively P4 and 5 that battle. As Lewis and Reshka at it again. They had a bit of a coming together last time around. Not this time around. That's all amicable between the two. Swiros and Koru. Meanwhile, side by side into turns 1, 2, and 3. Oh, it's very close racing between them. Rubbing his race in, but a bit of wheel banging going on there as Koru gets his way ahead of Swiros. Koru not a driver to back down, really. Very aggressive. He will get his elbows out when he needs to. Lap 19 of 29. There were some interesting battles going on here. Chris and Kevin, they're squabbling over what will be P4 and 5 after penalties have had their say. Tomasz on that podium now. Reshka and Lewis still going at it, these two. Side by side they go once again and continue to be side by side. And there's just minimal space left between them, but it's spaced enough as Reshka tries to send one down the inside of turn 13. Doesn't go for it on this occasion, no. We're going to see another move between them on the main straight as they go through wide of the apex is Lewis. That's a sign for Reshka to go on the attack. But 3 seconds is the time penalty that Reshka has under his name. And along he goes. Will Lewis go for a desperate send? Doesn't need to really get too much, but perhaps he's trying to hold on because he knows Reshka's got a bit more pace than him. That's Jasper and Griffin now side by side. Jasper on those medium tyres on that alternate strategy. And Swiros is very close to the back of Koru meanwhile and going for a move around the outside. Lots of action kicking off up and down the grid. And we've got side-by-side action. It's Koru and Sweet. Sweet's going to hold it all the way through and into the next corner and gets the move done through turn 5. Fantastic battle between those two as Jasper, I think it's found his way past Joe as well, which was the battle we saw in the background. And Jasper now all over the back of Koru and wants to go at the Sauber next. Fantastic racing between these guys. All clean. A bit marginal at times, but we like towing the line here in APP. That's where the most exciting racing comes from. And you can just see the grip and the confidence that Jasper's got in that car right now. So much more grip, and he's going to go for it. Koru's gone wide of the apex, and he goes down that gap that was left, unable to get the exit to draw alongside. But just hold on, Jasper. You'll get a chance in a moment. Nothing too silly. Use that grip, and he does. Reshka and Lewis swap places once again. But we're focusing on Jasper, Tomasz, and Ghost swapping places up ahead as well. Ghost trying to get in on Tomasz. We'll come back to that in a minute. We're focusing on these guys back here because they're having quite a titanic battle, the pair of them. And here comes Jasper, just getting around, just giving Koru the squeeze and getting up into P11. And now Jasper's only got to get past 3 Ross, and then it's clear track ahead of him. And even if he doesn't get past 3 Ross, he'll get him at the end. Under penalties. Lawrence in the pits, going to go for fastest lap. May as well. Won't score the point if he gets it anyway. But at least it'll make him feel better about his poor evening. To rub salt on the wound on purpose. On purpose. He insulted the 2020 Renault livery earlier, and I'm not happy about it. It's one of my favourite cars. It's literally my screensaver on my PC. My desktop, that's it. Here we go then. Ghost opening up that rear flap. We're focusing on him now. It's not really for that position. I think Chris RBL, though, is going to have a thing or two to say about third place at this juncture. And I think Dake will be hoping that they battle so much as Chris RBL notices an opportunity as the two ahead of him are battling, and he draws it on the inside and almost sends Ghost off the circuit. Lucky not to, really, but Chris RBL gets them both, but Tomasz is not done fighting for this place yet. They're still side by side, but has to back off. Does Tomasz, but he doesn't around the outside of turn 8, though. Goes for it. Can he get a switchback on the Aston Martin ahead of him? These two are fighting for position. We'll have to check on Dake's status in a moment. But Chris RBL not there. And I think actually looking at it currently, Dake will lose out on that podium if it were to finish as it is. But I think Tomasz will need to do some work if he's in order to take that podium away from Dake. Fantastic battling in this latter stages of the race. The dying embers are far from dying, roaring fire in the last few laps. So battles up and down the grid. Fantastic racing. After a controversial start, it must be said. Tomasz starting to lose out a bit now. Maybe the tyres starting to catch up with him. Reshka and Lewis have been joined at the hip all race long for this second stint here. And they're going to go for it again. They're side by side. Reshka locking up the front tyres as he breaks into turn 1. They're side by side still. And away goes the Red Bull, but the Mercedes will have another chance. Palang and Scott going for it. Griffin and Koru swapping places in the background as well. But we've got the two fighting it out for P9 here. And that's back up to Lewis into P8 and swoops around the outside. Elton B's on the back of this train as well, but remember he's got that penalty. Kevin O'Reilly staring down P5, which would be a solid recovery from him after the start there. Good points for me in the fantasy standings. Hopefully that trend continues. I think, is it Denko I have in my fantasy team for tier 2? I think I have Denko. I'll have to look now. There's Dake, I don't think he's going for a move, or he might just give us a bit of entertainment at the front, but no, not really. He's sort of shaping it up, but not, and doesn't bother. Well, let's see. Gap to leader. Still looking at P10 is Daka, and he'll know that as well. He'll see Tomasz on his MFD, and he'll know that he's still not going to be finishing on this podium. Although Ghost might have something to say about that, as he's made a move on Tomasz, and Tomasz, oh, he's lost the car, but kept it out of the wall, and now Kevin O'Reilly's got a chance here at a podium here on round 3. If he can get past Ghost and move on down the road, then maybe, just maybe for Kevin. But Tomasz, oh, a big moment in the race for him. Fastest lap is currently belonging to Palang. Right, but let me check my fantasy team now. I'm pretty sure I've got Denko. Pretty sure. Which, if so, that's more good points. I think it was pole and win. Was it pole and win? Oh, I think it was definitely win. This is scroll. Yes, Denko and Trickery is my team, and me. I hope Denko and Trickery don't crash and or miss races, because then, yes, that is anyway, Daka, not really moving right now. Fair play. Kevin O'Reilly, though, I think he smells the chance at a podium here, but it's going to be tight. Where are we? 10.3. Oh, it's close, isn't it? So we're supposed to be about 10.8, so he's kind of falling in and out of it, I think. If I'm right. Well, Daka is starting to drop off, though, which could affect his chances. Although, it's going to be very close. 10.8. This time will still be 11.2 to the leader. So currently, Kevin's looking at P4. He needs to get past Ghost. That's the driver standing between him and a podium. Kevin, I think, would need Daka to fall out of Hugo's DRS, which he almost did. A mistake from Daka would be critical at this moment as well. Chris RBL, he's going to be finishing P2 regardless, but Daka needs to try and do everything he can to hold on. Battling Hugo is not a good idea. What he wants to be doing is staying with him, as Daka has said in the chat a little while ago. He's got at a moment to turn 11 and 12. And he's doing a good job, Daka. He knows how to finish on the podium in his races. Kevin's now got pressure from behind from Tomasz, who wants to get back into that chance for a podium. Doesn't quite get the move done on that occasion. But Kevin, he needs to find a way past Ghost. Ghost might believe his penalty is removable, actually, and Ghost might think he can find his way onto the podium. Let's have a look, maybe, at the race director very briefly. Oh, wow, yeah. Ghost got 4 warnings on turn 1. So, well, at least 1 warning might be warranted. So, it might just be 3 seconds. Although that could have been just a straight penalty for Ghost. Depending. So, actually, Ghost could, in theory, be on 2 warnings. And actually be looking down the barrel of the podium himself. So, you might believe that's removable. And if so, then yes, it's going to make Kevin's life difficult, to say the least. That can mean what he's pulling out of the slipstream is to not go for any overtakes. Not really doing anything to warrant a move. Again, just playing it smart, staying with Hugo. There's no point fighting him. Although, look who's creeping up in the background. It's 3.1. It's a safe gap for now as Lewis and Reshka yet again side by side through turn 1 and 2. These two have been at it all of this second half of the race, and it's been great to watch between them. As Griffin and Swee getting involved now as well. Swee in the gravel a bit there. Might feel he got pushed off a little bit. I didn't see anything wrong with it personally, but I didn't have a very good angle, so let me have the best go. But Swee, Ross and Griffin again, they're banging wheels through this sector 2, and oh, there goes Jasper into the back, and oh, that's a big incident. That's a big incident as Griffin's gone round. No one collected, thankfully, as the car ghosted, but oof, that could have been much, much worse as Jasper's getting involved. Palang's in amongst it as well, actually. Palang and Jasper pit around the same time, it seems. And all Swee Ross. Oh, well, he's lost the car there. Oh, and I don't know how he's not got terminal damage, but that's no front wing for Jasper. It's all kicked off just out of the blue in his last few laps. And meanwhile, Chris closing in. Could he be in striking distance of Hugo in the last? Oh my God, there's so much happening right now in this race. Can Ghost get his penalty removed is the question. Can Kevin O'Reilly take this stick out of his arse and get ahead of Ghost and chase after a podium? Potentially. It's looking less and less likely as the laps tick down. But it's the time for definitive action. Swee Ross out of the race. With tyres in the pit lane. Tom Ash is involved as well. He'll be kicking himself at that moment he had a little while ago in the race. And Chris RBL is getting within striking distance. The question is, Dake's got no qualms with Chris. Dake's got no reason to fight him. Other than pride, I suppose. And Chris, he's a great racer. He's fantastic. Watching him improve from when he joined APP till now has been a fantastic journey. And I think Hugo might be coming under some pressure, but this is the last lap. This is crunch time now as Chris has caught up. Dake doing the same thing he's done all race long. Is Chris going to be savvy to it? The third car in the train is not, it is definitely not an enviable position. It's a horrible feeling. There's no way through for Chris. He's got to come up with something. He's got to produce a move to get past Dake, and it looks like he might try there. Oh, he tried to go and out-traction the Ferrari, but couldn't manage it on this occasion. Into turn 8 we go. This is a thrilling end to this Grand Prix. Dake is the car between Chris and the lead of this race. Hugo's just holding off. Look at how much battery Chris has got left to deploy. Will he deploy here? He's all over that curb. Reshka and Lewis are going at it again in the background, but we're watching this fight up at the front. Chris, will he do anything drastic? I don't think he will. He hasn't really got much left in it himself. Enchilada losing it. I think Griffin has retired. Why on the last lap? God knows. Right, Lawrence up into the points. But Chris using everything he's got, but I think it's too little too late. It's the last lap. He needed one more lap, did Chris, but Hugo's going to come home to win the Bahrain Grand Prix. Chris is P2, could have been on for the win. Ghost, we're still questioning whether it is, but I don't think that penalty is going to be, well, I don't think he's going to get it anyway. 1.5 if he gets 3 seconds removed from his race time. We'll see in a minute. It's easier to tell on the final grid, but it didn't look like it from what I could see. But we'll see in a moment. But Reshka coming home in P10 there. Jasper P11. Palang recovering all the way up to P9. Not the day he would have wanted. He went into this race leading. Came out and he was in P9, which not the best places. Lawrence passes Scott, who, has he run out of fuel? Or is he lagged out? He's running out of fuel. Lawrence Koenig, 3, 2 points. Probably 2 points. But yes, wow, fantastic race. Had its moments of dullness, but we eventually got there. I will invite Chris and Dakar, of course, for an interview there as well. Let's do that quickly, Chris. Dakar. It's all in caps, but you know what, I'm going to stick with it. I'll be right back. Podium celebrations for everyone. A solid race from Hugo, I think, there. I think I've got to give him driver of the day. Stayed out of all the carnage, went on to win the race, and didn't yield to the pressure that Chris presented in those final couple of laps. And kept Dakar company as he charged his way to P3. The game gave Ghost driver of the day, which I could see potentially. We'll wait to hear from Chris before we get started. But a bit of a hectic race at the start, and then it was pure APP quality throughout the rest. Some fantastic action. And I think we've got to remember, Kvyat Verstappen, as Palang is saying, it's so unlucky in the chat. We'll see if we can get a glimpse into that one with Dakar in a moment. We'll just wait for Chris. Let me ping him again. I'd be surprised if we don't get him, to be honest. Oh, we are going to get Chris. Amazing. Just wait a few moments. Apologies for the delay, just got to invite Chris to the party. I think I've got him on my friends list. I hope I've got him on my friends list.
Simo, if it's all right. I think Chris isn't in the PS group, so he wouldn't have seen it.
Annoyingly, I don't think I have Chris as a friend. At least not on PlayStation. Unless his name's different. I'm just looking. I don't think I have Chris on PlayStation. If I do, I can't see him unless he's appearing offline, which would be annoying. I do. I do apparently. Where is he then? Ah, there he is. Yeah, he's appearing offline. How annoying. Alright, there we go. I've sent him an invite. We got there in the end. There we go. Lovely. Alright, let's get these interviews underway then. We'll talk to Chris first. And,
Hello.
hello. And, it was a solid pole position lap from you, Chris, but I think, I don't know, I think you must be gutted that the lap one incident happened the way it did. I don't think it was I think it was just unfortunate from my perspective, but run me through the race from yours.
Me lap one, I just got unlucky. We were side by side, and I was very close to him, and he got a moment, and I couldn't avoid it since I was too close. And then the Ferrari got involved, and he didn't have the same outcome as me. I got a little bit of damage from it, and then on lap three, I had a little contact with Ghost, and I lost a few seconds from that, and it was just about making a comeback and trying my best.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching that at the end there. I think you just needed one more lap to maybe try and get ahead of Dakar and have a go at Hugo there as well. You just sort of run out of time and ground there as well. But it was a solid run up to third place. I mean, what was the plan going forward after those early lap incidents?
I mean, the plan was to do a one stop in the lead, obviously, but that didn't quite work out. So I just went as long as I could before risking a puncture, and I boxed. Maybe it was too late, but I don't know. Hindsight is always 2020.
Mm, yeah, that's it. But I mean, it's always nice to have you back on the grid, Chris. Can we expect any more appearances from you over the next 7 rounds?
I don't know. Maybe
Fair enough, mate. Well, it's always
I'm
nice to
always
have you
open to
back.
it.
Yeah, man. Fair enough. Well,
Yeah,
it's always nice to have you back on the grid, though, mate. Shame you couldn't get that win out there, but that's sometimes racing. But
yeah.
congratulations on the podium.
Can't win them all, bro. That's
That's
it.
it. That's it, mate. Well, congrats, anyways.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to Dakar, and I think that race could be summed up in one phrase: get Dakar squeaky bum time. Would you say that's correct?
Certainly the last half of the race, absolutely, for sure. Just constantly looking at the gap to that big train and seeing because obviously well I was in a party with Ghost and Co and Ghost was saying that his penalty was not legit, so I knew I needed to gap him out of the 10 seconds as well as the likes of Kevin, LTV, Tom Ashley. It was a big group of guys that I was having to clear, and Hugo was doing his best, I think, because he's thinking about the constructors to back me up. So yeah, it was a tough one, and I'm glad in the end that my penalty, which was so stupid, I was yeah just I braked early enough for the pits, then rolled off the brakes and came in at 81 kilometers an hour. So um, it was a frustrating one, but yeah, just glad it didn't have much impact on the end result.
Yeah, it's it was what I was following for most of the race. Actually, we were looking at Tom Ash and Kevin and Ghost there as well. When I was taking a look at his race director and saw that the penalty was likely one that could be removed, and I think well, the three of them battling, I think helped you out big time. I
Mm.
mean, you sat on the back of Hugo quite cleverly, and then I think Tomash had a big moment which saw him fall back behind Ghost and Kevin, and I don't think Kevin really had anything to get past Ghost there as well and go off down the road. So I think in some regards you got quite lucky in some senses, but did everything you could to hold on to P3.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I could have gotten past Hugo, I would have. The thing is that I didn't want to. If I was going to get past him, I couldn't get past him in a way that was also going to cost a bunch of time. So like, he didn't really give me anything clear cut to go through. So yeah, I kind of just had to sit there because I didn't really have any big opportunities. I didn't really have the speed to. I did have wing damage from well, I think half the grid had wing damage from lap one, but I also had some. So it didn't help me in certain parts of the lap, but yeah, it was tough management all the way through. I think Hugo had it slight pace advantage over me. So when he was pushing, he was close to getting me out of DRS. But I'm just I'm in equal parts frustrated and relieved, I think is probably the best way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean, he found himself sort of right in the lead there as well, and he looked quite marginal, that penalty as well. Actually, sort of the odd kilometre an hour,
1 kilometer over, yeah.
1 kilometre. Wow. I mean, it's such an easy mistake to make, though, I suppose, in the moment. But I suppose when there's luck for one car, there's commiserations for the other. It was, I'd imagine QVR wasn't too thrilled at his early exit of that race.
No, he wasn't. He was, yeah. I mean, it was a horrible, horrible, unlucky situation. Just getting caught up in an incident that didn't really involve him, and yeah, instantly gone from the race. But it did have the unintended positive side effect of the fact that he could then talk me through and engineer the rest of the race, which was definitely a good help. So it's frustrating. We will give up some points in the constructors. I don't know exactly where we'll be, but yeah, just had to try and maximize the result after his misfortune at the start of the race.
Yeah, I'm sure the standings will be out there as soon. I mean, Red Bull will have outscored you at the very least.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of points now by 6 points from Hugo. Um, you're currently still leading. It'll be just trying to think of the results. I think Reshka finished about P10. So, oh god, I should know this point system by now.
I think they'll be leading.
12 points gain for Red Bull, which would put Red Bull on 33.5, and you'll be on Ferrari should be on 48 points, so you'll still be leading, I think.
Okay.
If I've got my maths right, I could have got that completely wrong, knowing me, but I think that seems correct um, to me. But I'm sure that will be out in a few moments. But I mean, not the best, not the ideal outcome for Ferrari. But have you got any thoughts on Imola coming up next week?
Well, I know that that track is track limits hell, so I'm not very well. We'll see if we can use that to our advantage somewhat, but it's such a different track from what we've seen so far this season. Maybe there's some similarities with the Qatar and the all the high speed corners, but yeah, I've never league raced around Imola, so I don't really know if it's a good track for me or not. So I guess I guess you'll have to hear more from me in a week's time.
Well, yeah, assuming you're on the podium, that is.
Not necessarily in this interview room. I'm
Oh yeah, I mean in the
just
chat,
anywhere
but
in the league.
anywhere, indeed. Well, congratulations on holding on to that podium. It must have been a
Thank you.
tense race in the cockpit, that's for sure. But there we go. Congrats to the podium sitters. Congrats to Hugo as well. We didn't get to talk to him, but he held on to the lead there. Um, After a last lap charge from Chris. But that is going to be it from me for the next 4 weeks. As I said earlier in the stream, Lewis Elday will take over for the next 4 rounds, and then I will be back once again in the next couple, or to finish off the Tier 1 season. But you'll be in very good hands with Lewis. I'm very sure about that. But thank you all so very, very much for watching. I'm going to go get a cup of tea now and relax. And I will see you all again very, very soon. Good night.